At 28, I had everything mapped out. The ring, burning a hole in my pocket, felt heavy with anticipation as I paced around our apartment, eagerly waiting for her to come home from work. We'd been together for 3 years, living together for 2, and I was certain she was the one. The restaurant reservation was set for 8 p.m., and I'd spent weeks working with her best friend to ensure everything would be flawless. But then, something unusual happened. Her phone started ringing. She had forgotten it at home, something that had never occurred before. I let the first call go, but when it rang again, and then again, my heart started to race. After the fourth call within 10 minutes, worry crept in. The number wasn't familiar, and it wasn't saved in her contacts. What if something had happened to her? What if she was in trouble? My instinct told me I shouldn't, but I picked up her phone, convincing myself that I was just being protective. "Hey, babe, I've been trying to reach you," a man's voice said before I could even speak. "I can't wait to see you tonight." "Same place as always." My hands went numb, and the room seemed to spin. I struggled to breathe as his voice echoed in my ears. I managed a weak "hello," but he repeated himself. "You there?" I hung up in a panic and sat down, then stood, then sat again. The weight of the ring in my pocket was unbearable. I had to know more. I opened her phone, no password, something we'd always trusted each other on. The text history with this number spanned 6 months. Meeting times, hotel names, heart emojis, and pictures. Every message painted a clear picture. As I stood there, my stomach turned. While I was planning to propose, she had been meeting this guy twice a week during her late shifts at work, the same shifts she'd claimed were preparing her for a promotion. The betrayal hit me like a wave, and the realization left me sick to my core. 3 years together, and I thought I knew her. But the text messages showed a different reality. Complaints about me, jokes at my expense, plans for a future with him. My fingers trembled as I scrolled further. Then another message came in. "Don't forget to delete these messages, like always. Your boyfriend's too trusting for his own good." I heard the sound of keys in the door. I had about 3 seconds to make a choice. Confront her immediately, pretend I didn't know and catch her in the act, or leave without a word. My hands were shaking as I put her phone back exactly where it had been. The door opened, and she stepped inside, a bright smile on her face. The same smile that had once made my heart skip a beat. Now it felt like a mask. "Sorry I'm late," she said, giving me a quick kiss. "Work was crazy today. Let me just grab my phone and freshen up, and then I'm all yours for date night." She picked up her phone, and for just a split second, I saw her face change when she noticed the missed calls. She quickly typed something, probably telling him she couldn't meet tonight because of our date. "Give me 15 minutes to get ready," she called from the bedroom, already heading that way. "I'm so excited for tonight. You've been so mysterious about these dinner plans." I stood there, the ring box heavy in my pocket, watching her disappear into the bedroom. I could hear her humming, probably congratulating herself for managing 2 relationships without a hitch. 3 years of memories played through my mind, but now every moment was tainted with doubt. Had any of it been real? I still had a choice to make. The reservation was in an hour. The ring was still in my pocket. My entire world had just been shattered, and I had no idea what came next. The bathroom door clicked shut, and I heard the shower begin. Her phone buzzed again on the coffee table. I knew looking at it again would only hurt, but I couldn't resist. The latest message read, "Tomorrow then. I miss you already." I sat down, trying to clear my head amidst the fog of betrayal. The signs had been there all along. Late nights, sudden password changes, the way she'd angle her phone away from me when texting. But I had ignored it all. I had trusted her. I had loved her. The shower was still running, and I had maybe 10 minutes to decide how to handle this. 10 minutes to choose between confrontation and carefully plotted planning. 10 minutes to unravel everything I thought I knew about love, only to discover it had all been a carefully crafted lie. The ring box burned through my pocket as a reminder of the future I had once dreamed of, now gone. The water from the shower continued to flow, and with each passing second, my shock morphed into something colder, anger. A quiet, calculated anger that I had never felt before. I needed proof, a plan. Most of all, I needed to make it through dinner without revealing that everything had changed. One thing was certain. This wasn't going to be the proposal dinner I had planned. This would mark the beginning of something much different. At the restaurant, I ordered another whiskey, my third. She sat across from me, talking about her day at work, and every word felt like a dagger. The lies flowed so easily from her lips. The difficult project, the challenging client. I wondered if she even remembered which lies she'd told anymore. The waiter brought our drinks, and she raised her glass for a toast, a smile spreading across her face. That same smile that once made my heart skip a beat now left me hollow. I clinked my glass with hers, barely able to keep my composure, watching her for any sign of guilt. There was none. She was perfectly composed, perfectly happy, perfectly fake. The ring box in my pocket felt like it was burning into my skin. "You seem quiet tonight," she said, reaching across the table to touch my hand. "Everything okay?" I almost laughed. Everything okay? I'd spent the entire time she was in the shower taking pictures of her text messages and saving them to my cloud drive. I'd gathered all the evidence. I'd already emailed her best friend, the one who had helped me plan this proposal, asking for a meeting tomorrow. I needed to know if she had known all along. "I'm just tired," I lied. The words tasted bitter as they left my mouth. "Big project coming up." She nodded sympathetically, but as she checked her phone under the table, I saw her fingers quickly moving across the screen, probably sending another update to him. "Remember how we met?" she asked suddenly, looking up at me with what seemed like genuine nostalgia. "You spilled coffee all over yourself trying to ask for my number." That memory hit me like a punch to the gut. I had been so nervous, so excited. Now, I wondered, how many others had she juggled before me? How many other men had she smiled at while texting someone else under the table? "Yeah, I remember," I muttered, barely able to get the words out. The waiter came to take our orders. She ordered salmon, her favorite. I ordered steak, though I knew I wouldn't be able to eat it. My appetite had died hours ago, along with my trust in her. As she chatted about plans for the weekend with our friends, my mind raced back to our apartment. My name was on the lease. We'd bought most of the furniture together. We even shared a bank account for household expenses. Now, none of that seemed to matter anymore. 3 years of intertwined lives would undoubtedly take time to untangle. My phone buzzed. Her best friend had replied. The message was brief but heavy. "We need to talk tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. usual coffee shop." A chill immediately ran down my spine. Did she know? Had she been covering for her all this time? "Are you sure you're okay?" my girlfriend asked again, her forehead creased with concern. I couldn't help but notice her eyes, her hand placed gently on mine. It was the irony that almost made me laugh. Instead, I forced a smile and replied, "Sorry, just work stuff. You know how it is with these late-night projects." She nodded knowingly, but for a second, I could have sworn there was something more. Guilt, amusement? I couldn't tell anymore. Every word, every gesture, every expression seemed to carry a double meaning now. The food arrived, and we fell into conversation. She spoke about her parents' upcoming anniversary party, which we were supposed to attend together next month. My mind wandered, wondering if she had been planning to take him instead. The text messages I had found hinted at future plans, but they remained frustratingly vague. I pushed my food around the plate, lost in thought, mentally preparing my next move. I had proof now, carefully backed up. I had a meeting with her best friend the next morning. I had a lease to dissolve, joint accounts to separate, and 3 years' worth of shared possessions to divide. But what I didn't have was an explanation for everything that had happened. We had talked about marriage, kids, a future together. Had it all been a lie, or had something changed 6 months ago when all of this started? She reached across the table again, touching my hand. "Hey, I know you planned something special for tonight. I'm sorry if work stress is ruining it," she said. Her voice was filled with genuine concern, which was the worst part. Everything about her felt genuine. Her smile, her touch, the way she remembered the smallest details of our relationship. But how long had she been so skilled at lying? "It's fine," I replied, squeezing her hand without thinking. "Sometimes things don't go as planned." She had no idea how true those words were. The ring box sat untouched in my pocket, a silent reminder of how easily dreams could shatter. Tomorrow would bring confrontation, revelations, probably tears and accusations. It would mark the beginning of the end, But tonight, I had to smile and pretend everything was still intact. I had to listen to her talk about our future while knowing she was planning a different one with someone else. I had to act normal, all while silently gathering every scrap of information I could. The waiter returned, asking if we wanted dessert. She ordered her usual chocolate cake to share. I watched her eat it, smiling as she seemed to enjoy every bite, oblivious to the storm swirling around us. In a way, I realized everything was perfect for her. She had everything she wanted: a devoted boyfriend planning to propose and a lover on the side. The perfect arrangement. The next morning, I met her best friend at the coffee shop. She looked like she hadn't slept. Neither had I. After getting home from the restaurant last night, I had spent hours lying awake, listening to my girlfriend's peaceful breathing beside me, wondering how she could sleep so soundly while living such a massive lie. "I found out 3 weeks ago," her friend said, sliding into the seat across from me. "I saw them together. She made me promise not to tell you. She said she was going to end it soon, said it was just a mistake that got out of hand." I set my coffee down, my hands trembling. 3 weeks. She had known for 3 weeks and still helped me plan a proposal? "You've known for 3 weeks and helped me plan a proposal?" I repeated, disbelief thick in my voice. Her friend looked away, guilt written all over her face. "I kept telling her to end it, to come clean. She swore she would. I thought if you proposed, she'd realize what she was risking. I thought she'd choose you." I laughed, but it came out harsh and bitter. "Choose me? She's been planning a future with him." Her eyes widened in shock. "What messages?" she asked. I showed her the photos I had taken of the text conversations. She read through them, her face growing paler with each swipe. "I didn't know about any of this," she whispered. "She told me it was just physical, a stupid mistake. But these messages, they're talking about moving in together. About telling you after the holidays." I nodded, watching her process the evidence. "So much for ending it soon, huh?" I said bitterly. She pushed the phone back to me, looking sick. "I'm so sorry. I should have told you the moment I saw them. She's been my best friend since college. I thought I knew her. I thought she'd do the right thing." "Yeah," I said. "I thought I knew her too." We sat in silence for a while, both lost in our thoughts. Finally, she spoke again, breaking the tension. "What are you going to do?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the email I had drafted the night before. It was addressed to my girlfriend's family, her close friends, and several of her coworkers. Attached were screenshots of the messages, photos she'd sent him, their planned meeting times. "That's brutal," her friend said quietly. "You know what's brutal?" I replied, bitterness in my voice. "Planning to propose to someone while they're planning a life with someone else." She nodded slowly, understanding. "When are you sending it?" "Today. Right after I talked to her. I already moved most of my stuff out this morning while she was at the gym. Took the day off work. Now, I'm just waiting for her to come home for lunch, her regular Thursday routine." Her friend looked surprised. "You moved out already?" "Called some friends last night after dinner. They helped me pack while she was sleeping. Amazing how quietly you can move when you have to." We talked for another hour. She told me everything she knew, which wasn't much. Apparently, my girlfriend had met him at a work conference 6 months ago. He was from the company's West Coast office, and the long-distance aspect had made it easier for her to hide. At 11:30, I headed back to the apartment one last time. My key felt heavier in my hand as I unlocked the door. Everything looked normal, photos of us still on the walls, breakfast dishes still in the sink, the life we'd built together, all a carefully constructed lie. She came home at 12:15, right on schedule. She smiled when she saw me. "Hey, I thought you'd be at work," she said, her voice cheerful. I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled out my phone and played one of the voicemails I had recorded from her phone yesterday. Her voice filled the room, telling him how much she missed him, how she couldn't wait to start their life together. She froze, color draining from her face. "I can explain," she started, but I cut her off. "Don't bother. I saw everything. The texts, the photos, the plans you two made. Your friend confirmed it all this morning." She sat down heavily on the couch, her face a mask of disbelief. How did you? You left your phone at home yesterday, I replied. Right before I was going to propose. Her head snapped up at that, and I pulled out the ring box, placing it on the coffee table between us. I was going to ask you to marry me last night, I said quietly. Had it all planned out. Funny how things work out, isn't it? She started crying, trying to convince me that it wasn't what I thought. That she loved me. That he didn't mean anything. That we could work through it. I just shook my head and pulled out a folder with paperwork. I'm not on the lease anymore. My name's off the utilities. I've moved my stuff out. The joint account is closed. Your half is in your personal account. Here's a list of everything I took and everything I left. I think it's fair. You're just leaving, just like that? She asked, through her tears. No, I replied, standing up. You left 6 months ago. You just didn't tell me. I walked toward the door, then turned back one last time. Oh, and check your email in about 5 minutes, along with everyone else. Her face went pale again. What did you do? I did what you should have done 6 months ago, I replied. I told the truth. I closed the door behind me and walked away, my phone buzzing almost immediately. Probably her calling, or her friend, or maybe people already responding to my email. I turned it off. The ring box was still sitting on her coffee table, untouched. Let her deal with it. Let her explain to everyone why her boyfriend moved out the same day he was planning to propose. Let her face the consequences of her choices. As for me, I had a flight to book. My company's East Coast office had been trying to recruit me for months. It seemed like the perfect time for a fresh start. Sometimes the best revenge isn't something you do to someone else. Sometimes, it's just living well and letting them live with what they've done. I hear she's still trying to explain herself to people. Her family, her friends, her co-workers. Turns out her lover had a girlfriend too, one who's very interested in the evidence I gathered. But that's not my problem anymore. I'm done living someone else's lie. The next time I propose to someone, I'll make damn sure their phone is with them that day.